Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost. Yes, you see an empty Lambeau Field behind me, and it's going to be empty until about probably next August when they're playing some preseason games there. But I am Diesel, joining you from Diesel's Dapper Dungeon of Delight, because I'm not going to let that get me down. I have plenty more things in my life to let me get down, but I'm not going to get down at all because we're Dapper here. I'm joined by the first place loser, Dadillac Chad.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm not down in the cave. I'm up in the living room, and I just didn't feel like moving my stuff down there. So, it happens.
It's been one of those weeks. We didn't even record last week because just life and everything with like Damar Hamlin, and it was only a couple days, and I still felt weird about it, and I didn't feel like talking about picking games when he was still, at that time, he was still in an medically induced coma. And now where he's at is like amazing. Nobody could have ever imagined that it would be this quick of a turnaround for him. I'm very happy to hear like how well he is doing.
Heck yeah. Congratulations to Hamlin and everything like that. And just great news. Absolutely one of the craziest things. It was just terrifying to see. And it's just such a good thing that we have a happy ending to this story so far. So,
yes, I agree. But we still did make our picks last week. Just did radio silence, and yeah, I went 12-4. Chad went 9-7. So I was already up 3 games on him. So that significantly raised my lead, and I win the season at 163-91, and Chad finishes at 157-97. Chad still finishes at a clip of 616.
Hey,
I think that's pretty good. I'm at 639, just missing out on 64%. We round up, we get there, but yeah, I think that anything over 60, and like when you're predicting NFL games, is good.
Yeah, as
not great,
as prognosticators, it's pretty good. Yeah, prognosticators, pretty good.
But there were a lot of games that happened last week, and unfortunately, there's a lot of teams that played last week that aren't playing this week. So we're not really going to be. It's going to be a little bit different of a format this week. We're going to be more focused on the Super Wild Card. But of course, we do have to talk about our respective teams, who unfortunately had a shot all the way until the final week, but did not punch their ticket into the postseason. That's, of course, the Packers and the Patriots, who are always seeming to be the same team. One's in the AFC, one's in the NFC, but they always seem to have like similar records, similar feels to them. It's crazy. And if there wasn't 17 games in a season, neither of these teams would have had a shot, but they did. And I mean, I think for the Packers, it was a little bit worse because all they had to do was win, and they were in. New England needed to win.
New England had to do too.
Needed Miami to lose.
No, we just had to win. We controlled our own destiny.
Needed Miami to lose.
No, we didn't.
Either way, it sucks because New England was in it for the majority of the game. The Packers were also in it for the majority of the game, but like the whole time, you had this feeling that they weren't going to win. And if we would have recorded last week, I would have told you that I wanted Seattle to lose to the Rams because I felt deep within my bones that Detroit is more dangerous as a team that's been eliminated because now they have nothing to play for. They know it's their last game of the season, and they don't want the Packers to go. And that's exactly what Dan Campbell said at the end of the first quarter when they interviewed him. And I knew it. I don't know. The game wasn't very good. And like, you can't be mad about it. The Packers didn't deserve to be there. What I'm mad about is the Lions did deserve to be there. I think the Lions even deserve to be there more than Seattle did. But unfortunately, didn't shake out that way. Tiebreakers had Seattle going, and that's just the way it is. But the Packers, a lot of questions this offseason. I don't even know. I know Joe Barry's coming back. I think it's a mistake. I really, and this isn't a joke, and I know this is a pessimistic view. I honestly don't think that Matt LaFleur is a leader of men. I think they're a flawed team because of him, because he can't, like, look at Quay Walker. Like, that happened twice. That shouldn't happen once, and if it does happen once, you bet your ass it's not happening again. If you have a good coach, that's not happening under Dan Campbell. I guarantee you that. And I don't know, he's just not a good leader of men. I would fire him. I'd fire Joe Barry, and I would trade a first-round pick for Sean Payton and Vic Fangio. And, like, I would have Sean Payton, like, mentor Jordan Love. I believe that he could actually, I think that could be a winning combination. It's never going to happen, and we'll see where Sean Payton goes. But that's my thoughts on the Packers. What are your thoughts on the Patriots?
Man, the Patriots, as you were talking earlier, the Packers and Patriots are very similar teams. And this Patriots team is just flawed right now. As, don't get me wrong, I have full faith in Bill Belichick. I don't want Bill to go away. I was so glad to hear that he said he's coming back for another year. But on that note, we need an offensive coordinator. I don't know why we thought that Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, Beavis and Butthead, could get this done for an entire season. But it didn't work. It clearly didn't work. And also, Mac Jones doesn't really work. And don't get me wrong, hey, this game against the Buffalo Bills and these final few games of the season, he aired it out a little more. Did he look okay? Yes. Is he the quarterback of the future? No. Because he looks like the quarterbacks of the past. He cannot move in the pocket very well. He looks like a tree back there. And that don't work in today's NFL anymore. You got to have a little wiggle to you. Because if you don't have some wiggle to you, you're getting sacked or you're getting hurt.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
Like a guy, he just sat back there.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally he would move out of the pocket, but he was so slow that it didn't matter. Like, he reminds me of Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
He was successful back in the day, but, like, yeah, he wouldn't be today.
No. And Mac Jones's ceiling has already clearly been established. Like, the ceiling is already hit. This is a 2-story house. That is Mac Jones' future right there. Yeah, he can be solid. He can be a game manager. And we can keep him around as a backup. But we need a quarterback. And now with the fact that we missed the playoffs, just like the Packers did, and we have this kind of middling first-round draft pick, like, I don't know where the Patriots go from here. Our defense is good, but it's getting older. Like, we drafted a whole bunch. Our secondary's very young, but, like, our front seven and our linebackers are getting older. And then our offensive line is kind of been a wreck. Like, we keep losing pieces and everything like that. We got great running backs, and then we have a weird, like, cadre of wide receivers out there. I don't know where the Patriots go from here, because I think everyone else in the AFC East is getting better and better. Like, I don't think the Bills are going anywhere. I think the Jets are a very fast ascending team, especially if they can figure out what they're going to do at quarterback. And the Dolphins, if they can, keep a healthy quarterback and maybe figure out a couple more pieces on defense, that team's also stacked. So the Patriots, I worry, because I trust in Bill completely, but we are now dealing with a much more loaded division, and we have a lot of questions at quarterback and on offense in general. So I want to. This is a very important offseason, I feel like, for the Patriots. They got to figure some things out.
I feel like for the Patriots and the Packers, they both screwed themselves by thinking they were legit contenders this year. Like I've said it. How many times have I told you the Patriots are one draft away? I feel this in my bones. That defense is good enough. They put a little more talent on defense and add a lot of talent on offense. They have some. They have a good running attack. They do definitely need to upgrade at quarterback. I also told you 2 weeks ago what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, I'm calling it. Tom Brady's coming home, okay? Him and Belichick are going to win one more, and they're right off in the sunset. I'm telling you.
Run it back one more time, boys.
It's the NFL. And you're right. I think they do need to get one guy running the offense. And there's one guy that I think would actually work out really well for them. And he's actually linked to the Packers right now because he's their former offensive coordinator. But I wouldn't go back to the Packers if I were him because they're more in limbo than the Patriots, I believe. I would go to the Patriots. I can't think of his name right now for some reason. The guy from Denver Broncos who just got fired this year.
Nathaniel Hackett.
I think he's a great offensive coordinator, and maybe he could be a good head coach. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he has the same problem as Matt LaFleur about leading. Because we'll talk about it because we're talking about the Chargers in a minute. But if you watch that game and how like Denver looked, maybe it was Nathaniel Hackett. But he's still a great offensive mind, and I do believe losing him, the Packers definitely digressed, and that was part of the reason their offense wasn't as good. That was part of the reason they weren't scoring in the red zone this year. I think Nathaniel Hackett had a better game plan than, I don't even remember the guy's name that right now. But I think if they had Nathaniel Hackett, I think the Patriots, and I'm not even joking, I think that if Tom Brady comes back, it's like, I don't know. It's like one of those things where you pair things together and they just get better. And I think that even though they might not like each other anymore, I just think they get the best out of each other. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And if I were Robert Kraft, I would be pushing hard for this. Tom Brady's a free agent. I mean, draft a guy, have him sit under Tom Brady for 1 year, win your Super Bowl, and then boom.
I mean,
you got Chubby.
It would be pretty much it'd be like the Empire coming back, because the NFL would just go, the evil Empire is back, and I would love it. I would bust out my Tom Brady jersey.
Apparently, depending on who you talk to, the NFL is rigged, so they're going to write this storyline and make sure that it happens. So,
sorry.
Anyways, do you want to make some playoff picks? You ready to talk about some super wild card action?
I would love to talk some super wild card weekend.
These games, for being in the playoffs, are kind of underwhelming, matchup-wise.
They are. It's a little wonky.
It is. Like, every team that made it in this year, it's just weird. I feel weird about it. But anyways, we're starting off on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. We are seeing they finished at 9-8, the Seattle Seahawks, facing the 13-4 San Francisco 49ers, who were at one time 3-4, haven't lost a game since they got Christian McCaffrey. There's no way that Seattle's winning this game. No. They almost lost to the Rams.
They should have lost to the Rams.
They should have lost to the Rams, you're correct. But the referees got involved. So you never want to play against the Stripes. Like, you want to win every time. Your opponent. Yeah, they'll win every time. Ask Mike Holmgren in Super Bowl 45. I know that was Packers fans. Super Bowl 40 against the Steelers. Ask Mike Holmgren how that worked out against him playing the Zebras. Didn't work out very well.
No, they run up and down the field on you.
They got 2 bullshit touchdowns called back. 2 bullshit calls. Whatever. I just watched a video on that yesterday, so it brought back memories. Anywho, I got San Francisco. They're 9.5 favorites.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be shocked, literally shocked, if they didn't win this game.
Yeah, I mean, unless Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey basically fumble the game away, where they just keep, like, every time they touch it, they fumble the ball. I don't see Seattle's offense scoring. They couldn't score against the Rams. Like, they had to keep kicking field goals, and Geno Smith has turned back into a pumpkin. I don't know. He can't do it anymore. He is not the Geno Smith at the beginning of the season.
Geno Smith is the single season passing leader in Seahawks franchise record. And you say, well, he had an extra game. But if you look at the stats, he did it in less passes than Russell Wilson did. So I think that is a legit record.
That's wild. That's absolutely wild. But yeah, I got San Francisco.
And the same thing about a lot of people were bitching about Jamal Williams passing Barry Sanders for the Lions record. Did it on less carries. So I think that's also a legit record, even though Barry Sanders got the ball like 9 out of 10 plays.
I was about to say
Still,
that was no matter what.
17 touchdowns in one season. That's incredible.
Hey, I have no qualms with records being broken now that we have an extra game. Just the way of the world. All right, folks, that's how things happen. And, they want records to get broken, so records will be broken.
Yeah, there will still be asterisks, though. It's the only thing that sucks about it. But I think you got to look at the stats rather than the games, because I think that's a misleading thing. But anyways, San Francisco's winning this game. 9.5, sure, sounds good to me.
I would say I probably, this is the bronze lock of the week. Take San Francisco. It's in Santa Clara. I know it's a division game, but I have very little faith in Geno Smith. He just has not looked good. And that Niners defense, though it has had a couple hiccups, is going to be playoff bound, and playoffs are a different football. So give me those 9.5 points. I'll eat them.
Moving on to the second game on Saturday at 7:15 Central Time. We have the finishing at 10-7, the Los Angeles Chargers, who are the 5 seed, traveling to the 4 seed, 9-8 Jacksonville Jaguars, who needed every bit of their defense to beat the Titans, but the Titans looked worse somehow than the Jaguars did. Yeah, even with that Titans Jaguars game, I lost a little bit of faith in the Chargers after what Denver was able to do to them. They didn't rest their starters. They played their starters the entire game, but it seemed like they were resting. Like, Russell Wilson looked like Russell Wilson of 2013 when they won the Super Bowl. He was throwing up and down the field, and all of a sudden Jerry Jeudy remembered that he was a really good receiver.
These really fast.
2 weeks, Jerry Jeudy has been amazing. When everyone thought he was going to be coming into the season and looking like he did last year, I don't know, was it Nathaniel Hackett? Who knows? But I don't know. It made me lose a little bit of faith in the Chargers. And I don't know, that Jacksonville defense, they're beasts, man. I don't know. I am Los Angeles is favored by 1.5. I'm going against that. I'm going Jacksonville is going to win outright, because I think that it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's both of these defenses are going to control the game, and I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. And I'm just going to go with it's coin flip to me. I'm going Jacksonville.
Hey, I do agree that I think this is a coin flip kind of game here. I think that the Jacksonville defense is super hot right now. I do have some concerns about that Jacksonville offense, as Trevor Lawrence has not looked good in the past few weeks, and it's kind of looked like back to Trevor Lawrence of last year or the beginning of the season, and not the Trevor Lawrence who was on fire in the middle of the season. As with the Chargers, I have very little concerns about their offense, but that defense I have a lot of concerns about, because they're very up and down. So really, this game, I agree, I think it's a coin flip. I think it could go either way. I'm going to take the quarterback that I trust in more, even though this is both of their first times in the playoffs, right? Because Trevor Lawrence never made the playoffs, neither has Justin Herbert. So 2 untested quarterbacks. I'm going to take the one I trust a little bit more, which is Justin Herbert. So I'm going to take the Chargers. I do agree, I think this is a one-score game, though. So I would take the money line on whichever team you trust in more. I don't think I'm going to bet on this game till Saturday morning is when I probably will put a bet in, if I do put one in. But I'm not feeling too confident either way. But I'll pick the Chargers.
Think about how wacky this matchup is, too. You think about, the history of the league since the Jacksonville Jaguars have been in the NFL, and how up and down both these franchises have been, that it's a wacky matchup if you go think about it that way. But I don't know. This might be the game that I'm actually most excited for too. Like I like both these teams because they both could be considered underdogs, and I'm always looking for that underdog to root for. That's why I really wanted Detroit to be in there, because the whole NFC side, I look at it and I'm just like, gross. Like I just,
Gross.
I don't know how to feel. Like I really don't like any of these teams. Like legitimately, like I've even contemplated rooting for Minnesota, but like I bleed green and gold, so that's like almost impossible to do.
Gross.
If they made it to the Super Bowl, depending on who they were playing, there's a possibility just because, you know. But most likely not. I don't know. I don't. I guess I'm going for AFC because I like the Dolphins. Don't mind the Bills. I like Jacksonville. I don't hate the Chargers.
Yeah.
Baltimore, they can go like
Suck
away.
an egg.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Cincinnati, big fan of them too. So go AFC.
Yeah. Is it weird that Trevor Lawrence gets to host a playoff game before Justin Herbert does?
No, because the divisions they play in.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
That's a good point.
Chiefs, the Chiefs. There was no way the Chiefs were winning that division this year, and the South was winnable for anybody up until like week 10.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm
just
talking about the Houston.
as I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you listen to this podcast, you listen to it with some regularity, and you bet with me, and you bet the Jags when I told you to, I won you some effing money. So you're welcome.
Sidebar. Speaking of Houston, how hilarious is it that Lovie Smith knew he was getting fired, that he refused to tank and went for 2?
Yeah.
I love it. I love that call so much. And the fact that it got the Bears the number 1 pick, former coach of the Bears, like, oh man, Tom Grassi had a short this week about that. That was hilarious. You should check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But I can't, like, I was rooting for another tie between these two teams, because how funny would it be if it started the season with a tie
and ended the season with a tie? It would have been perfect. Yeah.
And it was 1 point away from happening again. Yeah, but I'm glad Houston won. They deserve to. And the Colts are actually considering Jeff Saturday as head coach.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to keep losing, that's fine with me, I guess.
I don't even. That's got to be like a decoy, right? They're bringing in Sean Payton, like, yeah.
They've got to be going after somebody much bigger than Jeff Saturday. Like, yes, bring him in to be the offensive line coach, something, but not the head coach. Come on.
You went 1-7.
Yeah.
There's no way you can hire that guy.
No.
And then Frank, right now is the favorite in Carolina. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Let's talk about playoffs.
Yeah, let's talk about playoff football. I don't want to hear about the coaching recycling of old guys. Like, idiots. Just stop it.
Anyways, moving on to the next game. First game on Sunday at noon. We have the 7-seeded Miami Dolphins traveling to the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills. Miami finished at 9-8. Buffalo was 13-3. And Buffalo is favored by 9. It's still up in the air about Tua. I doubt he's going to play just because 3 concussions. I think you're just done for the year.
Shut it down.
I wouldn't put him up. Yeah. So Tua's not playing. I don't even know how the Bills even beat the Jets last week with Joe Flacco starting. That game was one of the worst games of the entire year. It was so boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the worst game. There was a couple Broncos games that were worse than that.
Maybe.
That Monday night game against San Francisco. How did the Broncos beat San Francisco?
I don't have a good answer for you on that one.
Anyways.
Weird.
I don't know. If Tua were to play, I don't know. That game, week 2 or week 3, was amazing.
Yeah.
They came back. I want to see it again, but I don't want to risk his health, so I'm like hoping that he doesn't play. So I'm going Buffalo.
Yeah. Also, this game will be played in Buffalo, not Miami, so it will be cold. And yeah, the Dolphins hung with the Bills last time, but yeah, I don't see Tua playing. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is probably going to play either. So I think that means it'll be Skylar Thompson, I believe, is who started against the Jets and will be starting a playoff game. And I am not picking Skylar Thompson against the Buffalo Bills defense. Once again, this is the silver lock of the week, folks. If Tua's not playing, give me the Bills, and I will eat those 9 points because they're playing for Hamlin. I saw them just do it this last week against the Patriots, and they are playing with some emotion right now. So, yeah, give me the Bills, and I will eat those 9 points for the silver lock of the week, folks.
I mean, how crazy will it be if it's, once again, Buffalo and Kansas City in the AFC Championship, but this time it's at a neutral site? Like, how crazy is that going to be? Buffalo is guaranteed to not have to go to someone else's stadium to play them.
Yeah.
That is an advantage. Like, I know they got screwed out of the 1 seed because of everything that happened. I think the team that got screwed the most was Cincinnati, because I do think Cincinnati was going to beat Buffalo.
I agree.
And they should be the 2 seed. They got screwed, but I mean, they get an easy game this week, though, anyways. So, but moving on to the next game, we have the 9-7-1 6-seeded New York Giants traveling to the 13-4 3-seeded Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are favored by 3. I don't know. This matchup sucks because I feel like Vikings are frauds. And I feel like towards the end of the season, the Giants kind of revealed themselves as being frauds as well. Kind of lucked into their situation and then didn't know how to handle it and kind of just fell into the 6th seed because they won so many games at the beginning of the year. So for that, since they're in Minnesota, gonna go with Greg Joseph winning field goal to win it. This time, probably not a double doink, but I mean, I'd be totally happy with a double doink. That was the Bears, though. Still, double doinks all around. I don't care.
No, I'm gonna say the Vikings are gonna get their comeuppance here. All of their one score wins over this entire year. They beat the Giants on a 60-yard field goal, I want to say. 61. Yeah, 61-yard field goal. So, you know what? It's time for some vengeance here. Give me the Giants in this game. Give me White Michael Vick, Daniel Jones running all over that Vikings defense. And that Vikings defense is garbage. It's garbage, folks. So Saquon Barkley with a week off, gonna have some fresh legs. He's gonna run up and down the field. I got the Giants. Let's go. Let's go, G-Men. Ugh, it feels dirty, but I don't care.
I don't know how anyone can root for those blue wieners. Anyways, moving on to the game on Sunday night at 7:15 Central Time. We have the I don't know what seed we're at anymore. I should have wrote the seeds down. Yeah, it can't be the 7th seed. The 6th-seeded Baltimore Ravens traveling to the 3-seeded Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore finished 10-7. Cincinnati finished 12-4. Rematch of last week. Lamar Jackson is also up in the air, just like Tua. Huntley is also up in the air, I believe. So either way, I think Cincinnati is going to win this game. I think it will be a better game if Lamar Jackson's playing, but I think that his injury is a little worse than they've been letting on because they had high hopes when he got hurt that he'd be back by now, but I don't think that he's recovering as quickly as they would have hoped, and I just don't think he's going to play. And then the question is, has he played his last game in a Baltimore Ravens jersey? I don't know. I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see how it works out in the offseason. But a lot of interesting storylines already formulating. And yeah, I got Cincinnati in this game.
Yeah, this game While I think it's pretty obvious, I'm also going with Cincinnati. Even if Lamar Jackson does play, I think Cincinnati is the hotter team. They have shown that they are definitely not fraudulent from last year and deserve to be in the Super Bowl last year and look like they're even better this year now that this offensive line has come together and Joe Burrow isn't getting hit as much anymore. They look like a totally different beast, and I just don't see them losing this game. I do think the most interesting question is if Lamar Jackson does or doesn't play, is this his last time in a Baltimore uniform? As the Jets have already said that they're interested in Lamar Jackson and will be pursuing him heavily in the offseason. And I mean, will Baltimore pay him? Is he worth to pay? Like, he's been hurt. Is he a franchise quarterback? Because he's going to require a lot of money. He wants Deshaun Jackson guaranteed money, or not Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Watson guaranteed money. And if you give it to him, is it worth it? Does he play a full NFL season? I don't know. I think that's Lamar Jackson question marks are the most interesting part of this game because I don't see Baltimore being competitive in this game. Even though, yes, I know it's a division game. It's the third time they're playing this year. I just think Cincinnati's got their number at this point. I think this game gets out of hand quickly.
I think that somebody's going to be willing to pay him what he wants. And I'm thinking that he's going to be back in Baltimore next year. I think that sometimes you got to live and die by the sword. You drafted him, and if he does go to some other team and it burns you, like, that's on you. But at the same time, if he was more of a flash in the pan kind of player, had a good couple seasons at the beginning of his career, won an MVP, and you sign him to big bucks and he doesn't pan out after that, that's also on you. Like I said, I don't know. If I were the front office, I drafted him. If I had that much faith in him, I'm bringing him back. If I think that he can win a Super Bowl, I'm bringing him back. So
I'm bringing him back too. I agree. I think Lamar Jackson's a good quarterback. I do think he's a franchise quarterback. So I would pay him the money and bring him back.
They did just sign Roquan Smith to the biggest linebacker contract in the history of the NFL. So that's some money that they don't have now.
That's true.
So I wonder if that's going to affect anything. So anyways, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think Cincinnati's winning this game either way. They're favored by 7. Sure. I don't want to go against the Lions this week. I just don't feel safe. I don't feel safe at all. I need an adult. Moving on to the final game of the wild card weekend, the super wild card weekend. We have the 5 seed, the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys. It's nuts that they're 12-5 and they're the 5 seed. Going up against the 4 seed, who is 8-9. That's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dallas is favored by 2.5. They laid an egg against the Commanders on Sunday. Tampa Bay also rested their starters most of the game, but still, let's get honest, they probably would have lost the line anyways. Who's the better team here? I don't know. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay because they got Tom Brady, and it's the playoffs. And also, they got Mike McCarthy coaching Dallas, and it's the playoffs. I'm going Tampa Bay. I just got a feeling.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the golden lock of the week, folks, and I know it seems wild to do this, but because of all the reasons Diesel just said, it's Tampa Bay. Like, I think Tampa Bay's getting points in this game. Like, they are not the favorite team, if I am correct, right?
Dallas is favored by 2.5.
Correct. So I'm getting points with Tampa Bay, and I think Tampa Bay wins this game outright. They housed Dallas the first week, and Dallas, though a great team, are very flawed right now.
Yeah, I mean, think back to that first game where we were like thinking about like football. Tampa Bay started off 3-0. And like they looked like they were setting up for another good season, They won their division still, but they finished under 500 doing so. I don't know. And then Dallas losing in the first week, losing Dak Prescott with that thumb injury. That seems like years ago now. But I mean, Cooper Rush keeping
Kept the
this
ship
team
afloat.
together. Cooper Rush should be like, I know they have Michael Parsons, who definitely cooled off in the second half of the season, but like Cooper Rush should be the MVP of this season just for the fact of keeping everything together while Dak was out. Like, if he would have folded, Dallas probably wouldn't have made the playoffs. So, but still, that being said, they're going to choke on Monday night, and Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady, and I believe that he's going to go into the divisional round.
I think Tom Brady is poised for another run. The Buccaneers are getting healthy, and it's not just because I picked the Buccaneers to go to the Super Bowl before the season started, and I want to look real smart. I do really think the NFC is weird this year, once again, and I could see a Tampa Bay sneaking in if some things break the right way. So, like, yeah, I got Tampa Bay in this game.
I texted you last week. I could see Tampa Bay going on a run. Like, I feel Dallas is weaker than they were a few weeks ago. San Francisco, they are a team that seems unbeatable, and that's when David comes in and topples Goliath. And then you have them winning both those games, whether they're facing Minnesota or, I guess, New York or Philadelphia. I don't know. I think we'll have to see where we're at. I think they could beat Philadelphia. If they meet Philadelphia in the, like, I guess, by the way my picks go, they'd meet them in the second round. But if, like, if New York did beat Minnesota and they met Philadelphia in the NFC Championship, I'm telling you right now, I'm taking Tampa Bay.
Hey man, Philadelphia have been high on all year, but they're getting pretty banged up. Like, Jalen Hurts is one bad hit away from being out, and I love Gardner Minshew, but I'm definitely taking Tom Brady over Gardner Minshew. I'm taking Tom Brady over Daniel Jones. I'm taking Tom Brady over Kirk Cousins. Tom Brady really is the best quarterback left in this NFC playoff picture.
You know who you're sounding like right now?
Who?
You're sounding like JR in our group chat
Yeah,
that we had
I know.
about like 10 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably. But I'm doing it. I'm drinking
That's
the Kool-Aid.
hilarious, though.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
I mean, to be fair, it's a different time of the season. Like, Tom Brady's been there before. He's played 10 Super Bowls, won 7. He's won more Super Bowls individually than any other franchise in the NFL. What can you say about that?
How much playoff experience does anyone else in the NFC have for quarterback-wise? Dak Prescott's been there one time?
Twice, because the Packers beat him, Jared Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 there. Brock Purdy's never been in the playoffs, obviously. Jalen Hurts has never been in the playoffs.
Gino has never started a playoff game.
Never started a playoff game. No. Daniel Jones, nope. Let's see
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
How do you like that?
How do you like that? He's got a little playoff experience. So all of the other quarterbacks combined in these NFC playoffs,
That is nuts.
Pales in comparison. He quadruples the playoff. Like, it's more than quadruples. I don't even know what that number is. How many times over Tom Brady has played in playoff games than the rest of these quarterbacks combined.
And I mean, he almost has a career's worth of playoff games, like that some quarterbacks have, is like a career worth of games.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. But
woo! TB12 gave up his marriage for football, and he's winning another Super Bowl, folks. Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Man, I mean, I guess in a weird way, I don't know why, like, I am compelled to root for that. As much as I don't like Tampa Bay, and as much as I've been a Tom Brady, like, I don't want to say hater, but, like, he's never been my favorite, never really liked him very much, but, like, I kind of want to see it. as much chaos as we've had this year, what would be the ultimate chaos? Tom Brady winning his 8th Super Bowl when like they went 8-9 during the regular season.
Yeah. Yes, an 8-9 team winning the Super Bowl is the perfect chaotic end to this season.
But they beat Jacksonville to do it.
Yes.
That would be the best.
Tampa Bay, Jacksonville. That's what we're rooting for here at View from the Top of the Goalpost.
I love it. If that were the Super Bowl, I love it.
And then the AFC title game has to be the Jacksonville Jaguars versus Cincinnati Bengals, so it's a Big Cat Bowl.
I'll allow it. Well, then the NFC Championship would have to be the Buccaneers versus the Vikings. Then you have the battle of the Pirates versus the Vikings.
Perfect.
You know,
we figured it all out, folks.
Okay, well, I think we had enough fun this week.
I've had enough fun for this week.
I'm actually a little more excited for these games now after we talked them out. Like talking about scenarios and everything like that. So I mean, I'm watching them all regardless. So
obviously.
And I'm going in with low expectations because last year was so good that I don't even want to like pretend that this year is going to be anywhere near how good last year's playoffs were, because I don't think it's possible to top what happened last year. I
think we'll ever get another 13-second play like that again. I don't think that'll ever occur.
I'm interested to see if the overtime rules come into play. I personally think they're asinine. I think it makes no difference. It does nothing. It's the same thing as like sudden death, essentially, because if you tie the game up, then goes into sudden death.
Sudden death anyways, yeah.
I have thought about this a lot, and I finally think that sudden death, that's how it should be. You have 60 minutes to win the game. This is overtime. You're not supposed to play another quarter. We're playing to find a winner. And yeah, it might come down to a coin flip, but you also got to put your defense out there. You could have won the game in that 60 minutes. I say all this overtime rules is malarkey, and they should go back to 15-minute like overtime. But I also think that it should be sudden death and only sudden death. But I'm in the minority. But
I agree with you. I think sudden death is probably the right call if you're not going to go to the pure college rules, which I think are actually probably the best version of overtime, where it's just like a shootout, basically. Because I think that makes the most sense, but they will never do that because that would say that the college system is better than the pro system, and you know that ain't happening.
No, people are going to complain about, like, one team scores a touchdown, another team goes down and scores a touchdown, another team comes back and kicks a field goal, and then their fans are going to be like, wait, they got the ball twice. We only got the ball once. Why? Like, that's what's going to happen. You know, it's just...
Why don't we just play a second game? Why don't we just do it, best of 3? And, if you lose the first one, then you play a second game, and then if you split those games, then you play a third.
No, better yet, why don't you just... do like American Idol and have a fan vote and wait about an hour and...
Hey, we can do it live. I watch Dancing with the Stars. They do that shit live nowadays, man. We can do it right on TV.
That's what I'm saying. Might as well do it that way.
I'm in. I'm voting for the Jags and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Putting all my votes in on them.
Okay, well, I think that's enough for today. Any final thoughts? I don't really have any. I think that I'm excited.
I am excited for playoffs. It's playoff football. But besides that, no.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we can do social media. Follow me on Twitter at Diesel_VFTR. You can follow Chad on Twitter at Chads_mind. You can follow... you can follow Visionaries Global Media on Twitter at VizGlobalMedia. You can join Visionaries Global Media by sending in your podcast to visionariesglobalmedia@gmail.com, and you'll be heard on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, Podknife, and and so many more. I keep on forgetting we haven't done like VFTR 2.0 in a long time, and I still every time wait for Chad to chime in, and he just never does anymore.
I don't.
So weird.
It's not my part anymore.
But yeah, so be sure to follow us on all our social medias, and Visionaries Global Media and YouTube. If you're listening to this on any of the podcasting platforms, this is also a video podcast. So be sure to subscribe to Visionaries Global Media on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, a like, whatever, an upvote. We're not on Reddit, but you can still give us an upvote. Start a subreddit for us. There you go. And talk about us behind our backs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really got much else to say. I'm just excited that we're halfway through January, which means playoffs. And I don't know. For Chad, I'm not Chad, he's Chad. For Chad, I am Diesel, and I say, let's watch some football.
Bye. This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.